Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the regularly scheduled meeting of the School District of North Fond du Lac Board of Education to order with a roll call vote, please.
Chisholm.
Here.
Kowalski. Here. Hawk.
Here.
Streeter.
Here.
Will.
All present. Thank you. Mr. Sadoff, what's the report on public notice?
Public notices were posted at the district office, US Bank, and also the municipal village building. Also, they were mailed to WFDL Radio, KFIZ 107.1 The Bull, and also to the reporter, and that was done on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2016.
Excellent. Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Minutes of the last meeting were distributed in the board package. Does anyone have any additional comments or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, they'll stand approved as presented. Mr. Streeter, treasurer report, please.
Cash balance on hand October 24th, 2016, $283,527.88. Receipts from 10/25 to 11/28/2016, $88,293.98. Transfers from investment accounts, $900,000. Total receipts, $1,271,821.86. Expenditures from 10/25 to 11/28/2016, $1,356,786.57. Total expenditures, $1,356,786.57. Cash balance on hand November 2016, negative $84,964.71. Bills are recommended for payment as shown on the attached list dated November 28, 2016, in the amount of $980,374.80. Pre-approved checks, $707,829. Board meeting checks at $272,545.80. Total bills to be approved, $980,374.80.
Thank you, Mr. Streeter. The financial information was sent to us. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of the expenses?
Just a quick one on the bills before for Verizon, the wireless, $1,300. Is that every month we pay that much?
No, there were 2 staff members that purchased cell phones that month, and they reimburse us back.
Oh, I see.
Typically,
Okay.
it's in the 600s.
Okay. That's all.
Any other questions? So then I look to the board for its pleasure on the total bills to be approved of $980,374.08.
I'll make that motion approved.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any additional questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Streeter.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Will.
Yes.
Chisholm.
Yes.
Kowalski. Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion carries. Item G, clerk's report.
We have a donation. I'm going to read it because I've been trying to do bits and pieces and I'm still not sure I know what it is. So Mrs. Gielig recently earned funding at donorschoose.org for a classroom project called Wiggly Wobbly Kindergartners Flexible Seating. So she got this and the total was $388.19. So donorschoose.org is a free nonprofit website where teachers can receive funding for student resources. And they ask in return a thank you package for their donors. Thank you for fostering an environment where teachers go above and beyond for their students. The Donors Choose.org team.
Yep, so she went online, put something on, got funded.
She got funded.
Yep.
For Wiggly Wobbly Kindergarten.
Yeah, there's chairs and stuff, go in there, check them out.
Non-conventional seating. meeting, what we saw at the conference last week.
That's all.
And I will have a report that I will give to Dr. Ludomsky also about the friendship, how they do so much for families during this time. So there should be a lot of information coming out about about the families that are going to help with food and presents and clothes. That Terry Gravy and the crew over at FLC.
Okay, thank you very much. Next on the agenda, item H, student council report.
So next week, December 5th through the 9th, we have a penny war for student council throughout the high school. We do this in hopes to support 2 or 3 families through the FLC Angel Tree. Last year we were able to support 2, and we want to go 1 more this year. So paper and pennies equal positive and silver coins equal negative. So feel free to tell your fellow students to participate. And then for the winter sports, basketball, wrestling, and powerlifting are all off to a start, and we just finished with the blood drive.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the board? Great. Thank you very much. Next at 7:05. Next at 7:05, I'll open the meeting for citizens input. This is a portion for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the board at this time. So, anyone here wishing to address the board during citizens input? Hearing none, I will declare the citizens input portion of the meeting closed at 7:06. Item J, superintendent's report.
Oh, thank you, President Chisholm. We're going to start out with recognition of our fall athletes. Very exciting time. We had the most all-conference that I can remember in a long time. We had a lot of, we had first team. As a matter of fact, we had one of the first team here, Jasmine, here in volleyball. And we had a 2-time conference champion, Coach Forsyth and his crew, and also one of the boys finished second, and you're looking at the only underclassman in the top 5, sitting right next to Andrew, right there, Mr. Diego. And what'd you take at the turkey trot? 29. Yeah, it's not bad out of a couple thousand, so. Yeah, so we have a lot of exciting things going and continue to improve. And what I'm going to do right now is turn it over to Mr. McDowell, and he'll go through a kind of a fall athletic director's report and recognize all these great people that are here.
I thought you had it covered since you just took everything that I was going to talk about. On to the next one. All right. Why don't I'll just work it. Now, all of these things we're not going to go into tonight has nothing to do with the Packer game, but for the most part, most people aren't going to want to go through all of the things, but just the things that we have to offer. And Karen Hoff does a wonderful job too with our school district website and the athletic website. But these are all, and this will all be accessible to everyone after that we are done. It'll be on our school district webpage. It'll be free for anybody that can get onto our district site. But it's our athletics page, our postseason survey of coaching staff, quick links, WIA. Our school is all our events, and anytime Sunday comes out, the weekly events that generates from our school, and there's all kinds of things on there. If you don't know how to get to a place, you just hit on the hyperlink. They'll have maps that'll get you there to all the facilities. Our facilities calendars as well that Karen works with. In the past, everybody used to just show up and say, oh, I didn't know we had this, and now everybody's assigned to places and where they want to go and what they want to do. You sign up, and then we take care of that. Coaching checklist that we go through with the coaching staff, pre, post, and also during the season that they have to go with. And the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association conference that I attend every year. And then this is a recap for Soccer United, and we did add a team this year, Laconia, so it's kind of a quad op that we do have now with North Fond du Lac, St. Mary Springs Academy, Oakfield, our oldest co-op together, and then we added Laconia. The girls have also added Laconia, but they don't have St. Mary Springs on there. And from what I gather from the numbers coming from Laconia, it looks like, it could be in the high 20s for girls. And so with that, we'll have a full JV, a full varsity, which we were able to do this year with the boys, and gives them a lot more playing time as well, in bolstering that Football has all the conference statistics and everything in the recap, and then first team, second team, and honorable mention. Same thing for volleyball, and also cross country is listed there. So that'll take you a hyperlink to the all conference wrap up history with everything involved in it. The
And I
next one that
also
we have-
included those in your packet too.
yeah, those are also included in there. And then just congratulations, and once again to the all-conference winners for the fall season. Hard work and dedication on, off the field, court, and course. Competition has paid off. We salute your ability to strive in the best to represent the school districts with pride. And thank you, and keep up the good work. And there is, and I can see it in a number of different areas as we move forward. The striving for excellence and getting better. Our head coach is Tony Denson. Tony Denson has been with us. This next year will be his third year. He and I, in fact, are meeting this week and talking about what is going to be happening and changing. Originally, we did a double round robin with our conference. We added a couple of new schools. Now Wayland Academy is one of them, and Dodgeland is another one. And so the double round robin isn't going to be conducive. So what does that mean? Some more non-conference games that will be added in there, and we'll be looking to ramp that up. The boys finished fourth overall in the conference, and with a couple of games coming back after losing and then beating a team. And WLA is one of the most significant ones after being, I believe, 9-0. We came back, and then the second game we lost 4-0 to the eventual state champions, WLA. And it's tough in this conference when you finish fourth, and WLA and St. Lawrence Seminary for the semifinals, they're playing each other, which was really the finals, so to speak, for them for state. So as an attacker, the way in which it's done, and it's based on, and our conference is set up, outside of sports that, and don't take it the wrong way, sports that earn, for example, like cross country, you place first, or like wrestling in the conference, you place first at the conference meet, you're given all conference. You have earned that. Here it goes through a voting process that takes place with other coaches that are involved. So outside of cross country, these are all subject to coaches' nominations and other coaches voting on them. How your school places as well determines on how many opportunities you get to place people in those positions. So if I finish at the top, I'm given more opportunities to elect to send more people for possible voting. If I don't finish at the top, that diminishes the amount and availability that I have to be able to do that. So we have attackers and defenders. So attacker Ben Hintz, he's a junior for the United. Gene Hintz's son, Gene, is a teacher here, and he's first team all-conference attacker. Second team all-conference defender Drew Huck, he's a junior, and attacker Andrew Soto, who is also a junior for the United. Honorable mention, we had a defender Christian McGalloway, a senior. In fact, it was his first year out for soccer. And then we also have an attacker, Michael Godey, a senior. And then I just alluded down here that we did add Laconia for a co-op. So I don't believe, and I know some of the boys are playing basketball for St. Mary Springs, so they're on the road against Shiocton tonight. But just a round of applause.
Who's one of our teachers also, she had emailed me and said she just wanted to make sure that the board understands a great opportunity, co-op, not only our teams do well, but to give kids opportunities that they wouldn't also have.
Our cells in St. Mary Springs, we're about even at about 11 students provided for this. You take 11 kids and you try to make 11 kids out of 11-team soccer team. Even if you have 13, it makes it very difficult. You get injuries, and the rigor of the schedule of sometimes playing twice, 3 times a week doesn't lend itself, and then not having any depth as far as people pushing people, vying for positions, or having a JV team where people can learn skills and do things. Cole had an opportunity this year and to hire coaching staff, and co-head coaches Todd Whitaker and Pat Colby. Going into a family type of concept, some of the adaptations from Kimberly and their kind of family presentation, and it has been going well, moving forward, and this is one of those that we work on and changing the tide and moving forward with it. Second team all-conference, running back Griffin Burnett, a junior from North Fond du Lac, earning our second team. Honorable mention, Michael Mazurski, not only for offense, but also Michael Mazurski for defensive tackle. We have honorable mentions, Austin Hernandez, a senior as well on the offensive side, and then honorable mentions, Zach Choate for defensive tackle, and Jonah Dietenberger for defensive end. And I guess I put co-head coaches up there twice. And so round of applause for
Mike, you want to stand up?
I know, and not just because Mike showed up, but it is a fact, and I'll just state it, talking with the two coaches, somebody that is dedicated and has dedicated his time, and talking from Coach Kikurio as well, who, and I guess I'll use somebody that came up with, Coach Kikurio clips more knowledge of defense out of every fingernail than I'll have in my entire body. And I absolutely loved Michael, his work ethic, his attitude, his sense of presence, his leadership on and off the field, and was just a regular asset to the team. Having more Michael Mazurskis on the team, would move us forward as well. So it is an honor to him and to his family, the kind of young man that he has become. Volleyball head coach Katie Leverins and Roger Dooley. We had a first team all conference on here, Jasmine Spittle, and Jasmine did a wonderful job with it. When that ball comes screaming over the top, I feel a concussion. That's one of the things that we have to deal with on a regular basis in volleyball. Is one of those when that ball comes over and hits it, it's coming at breakneck speed. And so it does an excellent job in volleyball. It makes it very fun to watch.
Jasmine, you want to stand up? Thank you very much. So when does volleyball start for you again? Tomorrow. So we have a dedicated person going into getting ready for next year.
What grade are you? Junior.
Careful, we get you next year too.
Yeah, spiking from the back, from the front, you got to try to that hurts.
Cross country all conference, and it was almost a doubly this year. We came pretty close. The girls defended their all conference title by winning again, and the boys took second place. Last year, 6th, 7th?
Boys were fifth last year.
Fifth last year. And so quite an opportunity. And not to, Nostradamus or anything like that, but I know Doug and his vision. Doug has already said next year the boys will have the conference title. He's shaking his head back. He's not wavering in his prognostication there. So first team all conference, and I'll do it girls and boys with it. And Faith Pebbles, once again, she's a junior. Last year she was first team all conference, first team all conference. Yes.
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
First team all conference.
First team all conference for Faith. When she gets the conference, that's her meet.
Yes.
With it, Diego Charbonneau, a sophomore, earning the honors of first team all conference for the boys as well. And second team all conference, Linda Lopez, a senior. Will be sad to see Linda go. Linda was for track, she was a convert. But for cross country, she's been true, and she's been a great addition. Another senior we're going to see, hate seeing leave, is Leah Forsythe as well for second team all conference. Doug had alluded earlier, she would have been here. She was sick today, and he didn't feel it was appropriate that she come to school.
It's four in a row for her.
4 in a row.
All conference 4 years in a row.
4 in a row. And didn't get hit with a golf ball.
Didn't get hit with a golf ball.
It can be tough when people are teeing off and you're running up the course here. Tim's going to be returning next year as a sophomore once again from Germany. We had an opportunity, and I'll tell you, Tim is a great young man. He's got a nice spirit, a good heart, and he kind of rolls with things. And Tim's trying his hand at basketball right now. But Tim is our foreign exchange student from Germany, and what we do with the WIA is they have a foreign exchange policy. As long as we have accredited things, which we do, they are able to participate in the WIA sanctioned sports. Not sometimes, all the time. It's a lot easier to get foreign exchange students to qualify as like a transfer student as opposed to students that come from another district. So Tim has been excellent and tried it. I don't believe, did you run cross country at all?
No.
Yeah. So Tim came in with a positive attitude, and I said to Doug, I said, how'd it go? And he says, hey, every meet, getting better and better. So second team all conference, that's a great honor. Honorable,
Missed first team by one place.
Very
So
nice.
first year coming out and just missed being a first team.
Nice.
Honorable mention, Savannah Strina, a sophomore, and we have Sarah Conger, a junior as well. Xavier Lassay, freshman, and Andrew Forsythe, a freshman as well. So part of that dynasty for next year. Anything that you'd like to add?
No, it was another great year. I appreciate the board's support and Mike's support as the athletic director. Just, you know, a little background about how difficult the girls' conference was this year. St. Mary Springs finished third at our conference meet, and then they went on to place sixth in the state at the state meet. So our girls' conference was really stacked this year. It was loaded. And on the boys' side, we lost to Amro, who actually didn't run very well at state and placed fifth in the state on the boys' side. So we have a very competitive conference in cross country, and so our kids really did a nice job. It was a lot of fun again this year, and seeing them do their thing. And I don't know if you guys stood up to get clapped.
No, they got it
Hey, I
too.
Doug, I gotta wait for him to be done yet.
Oh, all
I
right.
can't clap before you're done.
I'm done.
All right, round of applause for cross country. We had an opportunity to host last year's conference, and I think down the road when Doug is ready, we'll work out our own home course and have an opportunity to run here as well. You need one of those bouncy seats there. Put a little button on here. Just a couple of future Oriole athletics, Oriole Nation. I remember coming here and Mr. Sadoff scratching on the whiteboard, and we need to do this and this, and this is how we can get this and this. And eventually, through the buy-in of a lot of people, you know, we're off to a great start in what has been in our second year and involved in the process and coming on to our third year. And we've had a lot of great people buy in and also help us along the way. And it's always great to be able to give back. And so it's a great initiative that we have. When we go to different things and CISA 6, we had an opportunity for the AD symposium there, and then also in water, we talked a little bit about what we're doing and what's happening, and a lot of people are kind of envious because it's not just athletics, it's academics, it's everything, and everybody buying in to the program and kind of, for lack of a better term, many hands making light work. Just some things working on. We have some new additions, some new coaching staff. It's not uncommon for a little turnover. We'll be bringing in a wrestling coach at the middle school level, a new girls softball varsity coach with approval of the board today. So just adding some things for coaching staff and just uniting them and doing some different things and some things we'll be looking at. Some projects in the works. We talk about branding our name and Oriole Nation from a couple of those different symposiums. And there's companies out that do this, but just working with the people that we have here is being able to get people to come to us. You know, if you take a look at like an alumni website, you type in North Monarch, there are people that are paying a website to be part of that, and I'm looking to attract them to our school to see what's happening and what's going on, and working with Kurt Wismer and maybe just starting a Facebook page and getting everybody together on that where they can find out what's happening at our school and kind of organizing the alumni back to there. So when we start springboarding different things like Hall of Fame and that, we can be able to have a venue in which we can springboard a lot of that information out and getting it to the people that are invested in our community and have moved away but are still invested in our schools. I got to meet a judge that just recently came back. Mr. Scadella, one of his former students, he and his wife are lawyers or judges. We have a lot of people that have been very successful in our community, and just to be able to have them come back and see what we're doing here, invite them back, you know, for different alumni nights and different things like that, and other than having an alumni band. So some great opportunities that we have. You know, fall goes quickly. You know, next year football starts July 31st. July 31st, and then we'll bark it back down after that. It'll go back down again, but July 31st. So it starts early for our fall sports, and before you know it, it's hard to believe, and then we're already finished, and we're into winter athletics, and we're off to, like was alluded to by Ms. Sadoff, we are off and running with all our sports now for the winter time. And Doug, tomorrow we'll have in a scrimmage down in Wolf Run. Well, thank you very much.
I also want to thank all the parents that are here for the support that you give to your student athletes. I know there's a lot of hours, and a lot of it is in pre-driver's license, so there's a lot of hauling around and a lot of food, in some houses more than others possibly. But thank you very much for all that you've done. And student athletes, thanks for building a great tradition. You're here because you're the top of the top, and we appreciate all that you do, and we rely on you to keep this going, and we're going to keep getting better and better. So one more time, thank you guys very much. All right, so moving on, survey and facility timeline, great meeting. I included all the information of the survey results. Very strong results at almost 70% of all the respondents of the survey said that they would support some sort of building initiative for our early childhood, and then also some things around the high school and middle school. Almost 60% of all of the people who responded that are residents without students said that they would support something also. At that meeting we had Bray Architects there, so Matt Wolford, and I'll talk about them in a few minutes. And we also had Bill Foster, and the nice thing about Bill Foster, working with him with school perceptions, is he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't have a horse in the race here. All he does is tell it like it is, and he was very, you know, with the amount of people we got back, he said the number was a little lower than some, but he was very confident with the numbers. He was, I believe, 100% in their prediction of what would happen with the referenda. 2 didn't pass, and he had predicted and told those districts they wouldn't pass if they go forward how it was, and they were right. And all the ones that they predicted that they would pass did. So it was a great meeting, and then after that we had Bray Architects give us a presentation of what they could do, and I think the whole committee was very impressed with them. I've done some background checks, I'll share that information with you. And it looks like we're going to be planning to go to a referendum in April. We don't know exactly what those questions will look like. We do have a meeting coming up on Wednesday the 14th at 6:30. And at that time, I'm going to invite everybody that commented that they wanted to be part of this. We'll put it out to the public. We'll have a committee there, and we'll start rock and rolling on what the questions look like, and start utilizing our resources to get information out and planning. Anything else that anybody from their head? Pretty good.
The 592 respondents, what was the final percentage?
Like 13%, I believe. So, and he said that's plus or minus 4%, but he said that it's not as high as they get some places, but he said he still stands behind the data.
I think he said when we first started talking with them that anything over 8% became statistically valid.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, and it was like 400 responses. So yeah. So I'm impressed with that information. Now we'll go forward and start planning. So, and then quickly now, Adam, district report cards.
Sure.
When I include that, we don't have to put them up. You can just speak to them.
Sure, yeah. I know the board, you guys had a chance to look at the write-up I did last week, and you have those report cards in front of you guys. But basically, this is the 5th year we've had our school report cards, and they've had 4 of those in the 5 years, because a few years ago they took off a report card with all the changes with the assessments. So I don't foresee there being many columnists moving forward with the report cards. There's still changes with the assessments and all that, so I think in the future years I'll be explaining to you again how the changes have taken place with the future report cards. But basically the big change for this year was the value added piece. So districts across the state, if they had a certain poverty rate, they were able to count and calculate more of the growth as opposed to the achievement piece. So that was something that impacted our district, and we saw that with the data on those report cards that did help our report card scores. So.
Hey, Adam, 1 second. If you guys would like to go now, I know something's going on, you're more than welcome. Didn't have that long meeting, but if you'd like to go, you're more than welcome to. And thank you for your kindness of hanging out until. Yeah, but thanks again, guys. Have a good one.
Good job, you guys. Nice job, boys. Thank you for coming.
That was pretty good.
I forgot to have that pause in there. I can tell by their looks that they're dull.
They're like, oh.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And I was just thinking, overall, when you look at those report card scores, and I think a great way to look at those, we compare our school to that state average. And if you see a difference of like 3 points per category, that's relatively safe to say we're okay in that one. But if you see a difference of 5 or more points, that'd be something that we want to either celebrate if it's on the high end, or really look at that and figure out, okay, what are we going to do to improve that if it's if we're behind the state average on that. So, like was mentioned in the board packet here too, and I mentioned it in my report as well, that nothing really surprises with our reports. I think we were where we thought we'd be, and our school improvement plans are addressing some of those factors. And as you talk to people in the community, definitely we are a district that shows more student growth than the average school district. So we're a high growth district, but our achievement is not where it needs to be. But I envision that getting better as we start to, again, work more with our school improvement plans and just doing some things a little bit differently as far as instruction goes.
In our role, really, we can do well in standardized tests as well as everything else. So our goal is by 2019 is to have all of our schools and districts exceeding expectations. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit of calming down and how things are measured, what they look like, plus with the reauthorization of the SSA, and also the way the district and the DPI, or not the district, but the DPI and the state are going to look at it. There's going to be a 5th category. Right now we have achievement, growth, closing gaps, when our gaps are with economically challenged along with special education. That's where our gaps between that and non. And then also graduation, ready and prepared, which looks at 3rd grade reading, 8th grade math, graduation rate and attendance. So there's going to be a 5th category that's going to be added. So, and we're looking at really diving into that, being college and career prepared, to look at all the things that we offer our kids and what we do in order to get kids ready for college, career, and life. So I see, now that we know how it is, and with Adam, this is one of Adam's full-time things, is to make sure that we understand the data, how it looks like, and what we can do to truly impact student learning and growth. So I see a lot of positive things going on.
And I'll just highlight too, I met with every building and talked to their staff about the report card, and just kind of talked about where some of the strengths were, things that we can do to impact that. And again, like Aaron said, just one piece of information that is an important piece, but just one part of what how our school is measured. But it was great to have that discussion and talk to principals as well about how to impact those scores positively. So I have lots more information. There's lots more information out there, but I guess I just maybe let you guys, if you have questions right now, or if you need more information, definitely contact me.
Questions? All right, the next part, reminder meetings in December, the 14th, the faculty or facility committee meeting, so 6:30, got more information coming out on that. And then also remember on the 19th, January 19th, or not January, December 19th, due to the holiday season, we'll have our meeting at that time. That way people can go on family vacations and don't have to come back on the 26th for the meeting. Also, it looks like we won't have to have a special meeting in January for a referendum question. That referendum date is 2 days after our January meeting. We won't need an extra one, and then we'll make sure we work with Lisa Freiberg, our county clerk, to make sure everything jives and we meet all of our times correctly as we start to develop. Future board agenda items, we'll have some as they come up. But then also now at this time, did anybody have a chance to get into the school and see what's going on? Or do you have any questions of our administrators? Winner, chicken dinner. Thank you guys. And how do you guys like that report? How they're sending a report that's continuous, got the goals, and then they add to it, put the dates. Is that easier to follow? And are you getting all the principals' updates weekly for what's going on in their schools?
For the most part, yeah.
Is that something that we should, yep.
Adam, did you have?
Yeah, I was just gonna throw out there, and I don't know if you guys had other thoughts on the reports, but I was gonna throw out there just as a heads up, as we're starting to do learning walks within our district with administrators, and we'll eventually do this with teachers as well, and just getting to see some things pretty purposefully within our classrooms. I'd love to invite you guys to those as well, and if it works in your schedule to come and just kind of go walk around with a group of either administrators or teachers or both, and just kind of see some things that are happening in our classrooms. And again,
When's the next one?
We have one this month.
Yes,
Maybe next week.
HMS.
Next week, Monday.
HMH.
So you're definitely more than willing. I could throw those out to you guys and have those if you want to come with. And it's usually about an hour to 2 hours, and we're again pretty purposeful about what we're looking for and the classrooms we get into, and then we have time at the end just to debrief and talk about, okay, again, are things headed in the direction we want them to, and do we see things that we need to get other people in to see and to learn from?
Our next one is December 12th, and it's actually high school's turn from 8:30 to 10:30.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think about doctors and doing rounds and something like that, it's pretty cool. It's not an evaluative tool, it's more of a learning tool. So, and the staff has been very receptive to how it's been going. And it's so cool to see the administrators out of their buildings too, in different buildings, because that's so hard for them to do sometimes, so that's pretty cool. And once again, also with the new position with Adam, if you have any questions or want to know more, I had him give a report of what's going on. Please let Adam or myself know, and we can get you any data or information that you'd like.
Keep us posted on those dates. It's hard during the day a lot of times, but
Yeah.
if I can make it work, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just then send you guys out an invite to those, and if you can come, great. If not, then we understand that too.
We'll keep inviting.
Yep.
And I'm very comfortable with the administrators emailing you guys. They know that you're not going to reply to all. If they reply back to them, so take care of it. You don't need to have me in the middle kind of figuring all that out. Feel free to make those comment or make those appointments and figure that out with them. All right?
I have one question. We just kind of talked, so is once a week a lot for you guys to do, or isn't that a big deal? I mean, not that I don't enjoy reading them every week, but
Kind of like to keep it fun.
It
Did
depends
we
on
decide
like
that we wanted
a short
that?
week, then,
And you don't need to read
Almost
them.
Monday.
The big thing
Oh,
is
okay,
for,
still need to read
well, no, but I mean, get it to them, but the big thing about those are, I can't tell you how important they are for staff. That staff can get used to it's coming Friday or Monday, and they're gonna see it, they're gonna say, if nothing else, they go down, well, here are the dates, or this is when Debbie's out of the office, or here, oh, these are the spirit days, or this is what's going on, oh, and I know now when I look at planned, kids are gonna have, maybe go give blood on Wednesday. So for a staff standpoint, having our administrators on a weekly basis do that, it's imperable, and I just think it's better for them to not recreate the wheel, share with you. And then if you have the opportunity to go through, cool, if not.
no, I thought they were doing it just for us.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No, they're doing it for the
Perfect,
staff.
wonderful.
You just get to be the addition. Why share things so good? All right, that's all I got.
All right. Item K, new business. Number 1, discuss and consider employee health insurance plan changes for the 17 fiscal year.
Nothing really big. We had budgeted 10% increase. Saw that originally it was a 36 or 38% increase. We worked with our insurance committee to look at different ideas, and as you can see, the only changes in the drug card we've already articulated this, shared this with staff, have also built in something so people who can't get a lower than tier 3 can still pay the $40. So we're going through those things, staying with United for the one more year. We have Rianne and what's the gentleman's name from Horn Group? Alex, who they're going to be taking over from Linda Mont as far as doing our negotiating and representing it for healthcare. We were able to do a lot of great things. We're seeing the biggest cost is prescription drugs. It's the way that it is, so we're looking at changing. That's the only change. Still keeping the $100, $200 deductible. Still keeping everything else the same. And by just making that one plan change, we're down to 8.8% increase. Our dental did not go up, so that was at 0. The one thing I could tell you is that at this time right now, as we move into the next year, we are definitely going to be looking to change insurance and do some different things to save money and get different service. UHC is a big company. They don't have individual plans and and processes for the most part. They've been good to us in some senses, but also very rigid in others. I was just talking to Bob Lloyd tonight too. Also, there's 6 school districts that are in kind of a co-op that are doing things. I trust Rayanne and the Horton Group and Alex that will do well, but I'm very comfortable in talking with the insurance committee, these minimal changes to keep the quality insurance that our staff has earned. I think is a good thing. Maria, anything else?
No, I think you covered it.
All right. Any questions?
So you mentioned Bob Lloyd and his district, there's a number of them that are,
Yeah, a lot of the Dodge County down there, they get together and their insurance rates are similar, but they have a co-op where once you get into kind of a co-op, just like what we had with the trust, you start to lose that ability to really sleep in the bed that you make, if you will, but you also get to mitigate your losses. So us being a 215 member group that has insurance doesn't give us a lot of protection. So if you can expand, that's a good thing, but if you can expand it with other people who are trying to do the same types of initiative, concentrate on wellness and also usage, it can be a good thing. So that's just one idea. Just to let you know, we are going to actively not get a lesser plan, but what can we do to save money and get better service to? And we'll be starting that now. I think after 2 years, we're good. If we would have changed from UHC, that would have, there's so much emotional capital that's put into insurance too, on top of it. So I think we're in a good state, 1 more year here, and then we'll be able to, I think, make some good decisions next year also.
so the recommendation to the board is recommend approving the changes to the district health insurance plan for the 17 fiscal year.
Going to declare a potential conflict of interest and abstain.
Of course you are.
Could note that in the minutes, please.
All right. So what's the board's pleasure? So I'll second that. Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Will? Yes. Chisholm?
Yes.
Kowalski, yes. Streeter?
Yes.
And an abstention. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, discuss and consider approving Bray Architects as the design partner for the facility development and construction.
I just passed this out. There are some questions that the group had. Facilities committee, very impressed with Bray, but want to know a little bit more. So what I did is I looked at the cost right now. It'd be $2,500, and they would help with everything except for print materials and mailings for referendum preparation, which is quite a big deal. And they already know a lot about our district and what's going on. So that was pretty surprising. They only charge that if it's successful. And then a 5.25 cost project fee. So if you have a $20 million project, add 5.25%, that's what their project fee is. Comparative, what does that look like? You can see the costs and the fees that they had for different groups. Some were higher, some were lower. But right now, like I talked to Bob Bob Lloyd from Lemira, they were at 5%. Theirs was about 25, right around where we're at too. But he said that was a different time. A lot of people didn't have work. So they were able to negotiate quite a bit, and right now people are pretty busy. Matt Wolford, I've been working with him. I feel very comfortable with that amount. It's good, it's comparable to what's going on, and talked with Brian from Ashwaubenon, and also Eric Ruiz, who utilized Bray down in DeForest. References, Brian Haynes and Eric Ruiz. Brian is up in Ashwaubenon, and they did a really neat project with the city, or is it the village of Ashwaubenon? Village. And they did a PAC. Also, they built a brand new pool. They did some incredible stuff. And he was happy with Bray. The one thing that he, and then also Eric Ruiz from DeForest, that used to be Dr. Sue Borden, she had left, and he's now the superintendent that took over there, is that when Bray came in and they said they believe it's going to cost X, it actually was that plus 20% after the referendum. So they had to do some changing things, like in Ashwaubenon, they kept the footprint, but maybe they used a different, instead of using the Cadillac of exteriors, they used a Chevy type of thing, something like that. Now, so I called those specifically because I knew there was problems there with that. and they were very happy with how things were handled afterwards, including one, Eric said they had some change orders, talked to Bray about that, and said that they didn't get the response right away. Bray added staff to help them out. Understanding that I talked to Bray and I hear a little bit different. So, but overall, I was very impressed with how these two projects weren't the most glowing as far as coming in budget-wise, but how they helped and worked through them. And the one thing that they all said, and with Bob Lloyd, he said their designs were just incredible. What they're able to do coming into the remodel portions, because a lot of Elmira was remodeled, and also new, said very impressed, very happy with the process of how it went and the design went. So very happy with that. One of the things that concerns is the planning and the building costs. So if it would be E-Line, if it was a Bray, if it was a Steve and Page architectural firm, whoever it would be, they're only as good as the groups that they align themselves with in order to find out what costs of builds are. So one of the things that that Mr. Wolford said from Bray, and also this was reiterated from Elmira, along with the Forest, they wish they would have, along with Ashwaubenon, they wish they would have. They wish that they had a general contractor on board to help with the cost as the planning is going. Bray is not a general contractor. So there's a couple ways this can go about where Bray could design, then we go to bid and we get a general contractor, and then there's bids out that that contractor then goes. There's another way where we could get a general contract along with the plan, so as the plan's developed, it makes sense, it costs what we believe it's gonna cost. And that's what Bob Lloyd did. Bob Lloyd and Elmira, they actually hired a company called C.D. Smith. And he said that he says that they came in, they knew what the cost was gonna be, they actually estimated a little higher, that's how they worked. But they made sure that it came in budget, they have a bunch of different things. He said that they were very cost effective. Said they were incredible service. He says as much as they like Bray, they like that group better. And then there's another way where you can make designs and then consult with people. So we have some decisions to make. One of the things though that I want to, as we go forward, to look at to a referenda in a building process is just to be aware of the costs of building are going to increase, and having somebody who knows what those costs look like and how that can work is going to be very beneficial to us. So that's something that after that 15th or the meeting on the 14th, I'm going to get some more information. I know Greg said we're not going to get, I wouldn't recommend getting in a contract with C.D. Smith right now. I know Greg Sabel, I'll ask him some questions about what different processes and things that he's seen and that have worked or haven't worked. But overall, I've been very happy with what I've heard about Bray and their creativity and how they've came through and finished with processes. Remember when Matt Wolford said something about the slippery surfaces up at Ashwaubenon? I talked to Brian Haynes the next day. He says it's not a big deal, it's 2 days. He says it wasn't even their fault. It was a general contractor's fault. Not a general, but whoever, the subcontractor coming in, they put 2 coats instead of 1 coat. He says it's not a big deal. He said, but they were very receptive and helpful and all those things, so.
And the one thing with meeting with C.D. Smith and Greg Sabel and the jobs that they're working on right now, and an opportunity that I had with my tech ed class of touring the DOT building, is that in the old days, like my dad working for Lisa Electric too, you put everything out to the bid and the lowest bid got it. Now they do a lot more of working together, so they partnership, like if they're working with Bray or whatever, they work together to the common goal, and that's meeting the needs of the person, the customer they're working for. So, you know, there is more than the old way of just the bid way, and I think what you were kind of alluding to is that they collectively work together for the common goal of getting to where they need to get.
Yep.
And
And that would also then still allow for open bidding process, because there's a lot of other things. You're talking about architecture on the exterior, you're talking about mechanicals, you're talking a lot of different things how that would work. But I just want to set a seed, and I think Mike said, well, there's just many different ways of doing construction now and getting things going in the way that things go. So just a heads up on that. But overall, I think for what Bray is supposed to do, and what Bray is supposed to do is help us with this referendum process. Bray is also supposed to be innovative, listen to the needs of staff, listen to the needs of the community, listen to the needs of the board, the administration, and help create an incredible building that not only will meet our needs now, but will set us up for success for years to come. And I know that Bray would be, I'm very comfortable recommending Bray.
Aaron, were there issues originally with Bray? Weren't there some high costs before you guys went to the...
What we did is back in the day, or back in the first Steve had some issues, and there was under different ownership. Steve came in for an hour ahead of time and actually talked with Matt, if you want to fill in, Mike.
Yeah, it was just some, I think it was an 88 or 92 edition to Friendship. There's a minor issue involving some carpeting that Ray just would not, they didn't want anything to do with it, and getting it squared away, and John pushed on that, and they fought us on it rather than, and it was minimal, so they should have just taken care of it, not even any stress at all. But again, that part of the company's gone. These new people had bought it from the Bray family, and that was basically the Bray family that was involved in that. So we talked about all those concerns, and then another concern with how closely tied at that time they were with C.D. Smith, and there was some issues there, but because we didn't use them. But I was happy. My concerns were resolved. Basically, it's a new company now, new people running it. Some of them worked for Ray over the years, but there's a different outlook, and I have no problem with Ray now.
Is this process going about the same as it did for the high school, do you recall? Or
Just what we're doing with facilities committee?
Yeah, this whole,
Yeah, I think pretty much so, yeah. Do it, get the groundwork going and the grassroots, get people involved so that it all comes together on election day. But
Did you guys do a survey in that process?
no, that really wasn't anything that anybody did at that time. You just hope for the best, I guess. But I think we probably had another step in there where we met, and the board met and decided just what we were going to have. Instead of just approving the final question, we were about which parts of this survey, that it says might not work so well. Do we include that? Do we don't include that? So we know when we approve the questions that night what the number is that's going to be a fair number, and then what exactly we want to do. And there can be some switching because you have the dollar amount if it's approved, but if there's some things that have to be adjusted as the design process goes on, you can do that. But
And that's all going to be happening in the next month.
Do we need to pull in a contractor for more specific,
I think we'll,
guesstimates on how much to ask?
we can do that with utilizing C.D. Smith without hiring them too. So I don't really know how this process is going to all unfold. I do know that in the next few weeks we'll get a lot more information, and I'll get more information from Bill Foster. So when we sit down on the 14th, we'll have all that data, and then we'll start looking at because some of the feedback was really should we invest all that in FLC or in ELC, and maybe we should just do more over and build different over there. So there's some questions that we still have to iron out. What we do know is that we do have support for that early childhood through 5th grade for about $25 million. Then it looks like we have another $3 million of support of doing other upgrades and improvements at the other parts of our school district. So that's what you guys say, that's what the data showed for the most part. And now it's how do we utilize that in the best way and show what we need.
well, there were some of those questions about Bessie Allen in high school where Bill wasn't overly optimistic about some of those. Those were just where, remember they were worded different questions and given a numerical value, and some of them were 1 point something, and so that's kind of in that gray area. So we need, I'm assuming we'll talk about which ones of those we want to.
And some of them, like secure entrances. I can tell you right now, Bessie Allen, Horace Mann, how those were developed, not that they're bad, it just isn't, we didn't have 9/11, nor did we have Sandy Hook, nor did we have Columbine. Well, Columbine we did, but we didn't have a lot of that developed. So, I mean, some of those aren't, even though it might have only been a 1.9 because it's not that sexy of a question, the way that he said, like wording them and how you go about the needs. So those are things you definitely have prioritized too.
Any other questions? I guess the only question that I had was, did we talk about asking what other percentage rates from other contractors? Was the 5.5%?
I did not call any other architects.
Or any other school districts that used somebody other than Bray?
I did not. I can. I mean, I think, I don't know if you're different, I don't.
I don't think, I don't think that it's gonna change my mind, but I just wonder in the spirit of transparency if we should at least ask the question. Is this on par with what other architectural firms are?
Sure.
I would assume that if there's a dozen here that paid about between 5 and 5 3/4, that's got to be the going rate, I would think.
These are all break on?
Right, it's very hard for me to ask Bray, could you tell me what other companies are charging their,
I realize that. but-
and
But I just wonder if there's other districts that have used somebody other than Gray that you could maybe tap to say, hey.
Yeah. I could, the only thing I hesitate on that is I don't know what the scope of their work was, and would that be apples to oranges? I mean, definitely can look into that, can ask. I don't know, I can call Ripon, I know they didn't use Bray, and ask Mary.
I would just be curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
And if you could, I'll collect these later on, you can hold on. He said to share them, but, I mean, it's not like anybody could request this sheet, but this.
there's a process that we use to end up with them, I feel very comfortable with. But I was just curious.
Yeah, I
Somebody
can,
would ask them.
sure, I will do so. I know I can call Ripon, trying to think who else had some building stuff
Who
going
did
on.
Ripon use, do you know?
No idea. I know that Bray did Oshkosh, they did the new building, and one of the teachers there I know quite well, her 2 children go here, and she was very happy with how teachers were involved, Robin Getters.
All right, the recommendation coming to the board then is a recommendation to approve the contract to Gray to be our architects and to support the referendum design, construction, art of any possible building projects as a result of the potentially successful referendum. So what's the board's pleasure?
I'll make the motion.
Excellent. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Hawk,
Yes.
Goldowski, yes. Streeter,
Yes.
Will. Yes. Chisholm.
Yes.
All right.
We're running.
I'll let Matt know, and then I still have the contract being reviewed by our attorney, just to make sure all the Ts are crossed, Is are dotted. No, it could be, the 40-page document that I want to.
Anything over 5 pages, have the attorneys look in. Item number 3, discuss and consider Ken Keeble's resignation from middle school wrestling.
He's still gonna help out, this just opens up an opportunity to get somebody who's volunteering at varsity to help out in middle school.
I read that and I immediately got cold feet thinking, what? What's Ken doing there? Yeah, they're ready to find Ken Keeble. All right, the recommendation is to approve Ken's resignation as middle school wrestling coach.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Roll call vote, please.
Streeter,
Yes.
Chisholm,
Yes,
Goldowski, yes. Hawk,
Yes.
Will.
motion carries. Item number 4, discuss and consider extra duty contracts for the 16-17 school year for Todd Stetbacher for girls varsity softball, Ryan Remstack for middle school wrestling, and Linda Kaiser, no paid assistant for BOTS IQ coach.
And could you also put Charlene Juwani as an unpaid, instead of no paid or unpaid assistant for BOTS IQ? That's Charlene Juwani. The reason we do that for Linda Kaiser and then Charlene, we have background checks and we'll check driving records, but then their insurance, we have policy that say non-coaches, parents can't drive our vehicles and stuff, and it makes it difficult to get people to drive all the time. So that's what that is. We also have somebody that's the same thing, unpaid, but they are then legal and insured through the district. So if you could add Charlene Giovanni also as a unpaid assistant box coach too, that's like, please.
All right, the recommendation is to approve those.
And I'll just go through real quick. Mike, you want to talk about Todd real quick?
We had 5 people highly qualified for the position. And we had a panel, we had a student athlete, a parent, not related to the student athlete on there for softball. We had the girls varsity soccer coach, 2 boys football coaches, an administrator, myself, and out of the 5 that we interviewed that night, Todd Stembacher rose to the top amongst all of the interviewees. And so I offered Todd the position and he has accepted. There may be an opportunity to open up for JV. We haven't decided on that yet. But Todd will be the girls varsity softball coach.
He's pretty excited. And he and his brother both try to get fired from their family farm every day, but they can't, so they're giving game plan play there. So we know they're sticking around the area. Grandma Carol won't fire him, so she'll be working there for a while. And then Ryan is a great guy. He's one of the instructional aides working for his education degree, and he's already helping all that.
Ryan Ramstack was a former student of mine and a wrestler of mine when I was at Fond du Lac. And so what Ken and Doug came to me was they wanted to get somebody else involved in the program. Other than volunteering, they felt that could give them an opportunity for Ryan to take that middle school monies and be part of not only the varsity, but then the middle school and some youth stuff as well. So an incentive to keep him going with wrestling. Because he originally had a contract with another school district, so they were luring him here to ours.
Ken was going to rip up the contract right in front, so
He got quite emotional as he goes down.
I applaud your choice with Todd Stepbacher as a sophomore. But we,
Yeah, he has had a lot of involvement with the youth program all the way through. Don't take this the wrong way, I think he's got enough pride that he's gonna want to see success in the program in moving forward. It's not and nobody, as Mr. Cohen can attest to, nobody's in it for the lucrative paycheck. At the end of the day, it comes 2 pennies on the dollar. But just wanting to move forward, to see a program. He's got a personal investment in there as well with his daughter. So,
well, then he's got what I think we really need to value is that background in playing the game and learning from a quality coach. His father, obviously, coached at a pretty high level in youth programs, and the stability that changing every year, every 2 years is tough on a program, tough on the kids. So, I think it's a great choice. He told me of a couple others that had applied, and it must have been a pretty tough decision for you. But I think Todd is going to do a great job.
All right, so look to the board for approving the extra-duty contracts.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none. Roll call, please.
Goldowski, yes. Hawk.
Yes.
Streeter.
Yes.
Will.
Yes.
Chisholm.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, discuss and consider Matt Bertram, LEA for the district.
it's 5. It's 5.
At least I'm reading from the right agenda this week. Discuss and consider educator contract for HMHS math.
All right, this is, this, in only true fashion that this gentleman could do after tonight, then he'll start telling other people. This might be the biggest non-secret that we've had for a while, but Samantha, if you just want to give a little background about Mr. Jeff Stratz coming back to join us.
Sure. So about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, Jeff sent me a fun email over the weekend asking to meet with me, and so my interest was perplexed, and he said, hey, are you still looking for a CAP teacher second semester? And I said yes. And I know that he felt bad, was thinking that there was going to be 3 or 4 highly qualified applicants, and I shared no. So we had a really good conversation. I think bottom line, the grass is not always greener, and Jeff really valued what he had here, and maybe some of the opportunities that he thought what he was going to be given did not occur. And he just said, you know what, he loves all of his students here, misses the tennis balls being thrown up, and said that he would like to have a conversation with myself and Aaron about coming back or as soon as possible. So I've met with him and talked with him a couple of times. He still may, quite honestly, in summer choose to retire, and he's been very open and honest about that. But he loves what he does. He loves the students needing help from him and support. And has had, I think this weekend, in fact, he told me he had to write 10 letters of recommendations for students. And he completed those and brought those in today, and then just, shared again that he's really looking forward to coming back.
And they'll be starting January 2nd, so there'll be a little overlap, so we'll get a little extra math help up at the high school. Should help.
Well, it'll be a good transition time. He's got to have a good idea of where Peter Chekai is with the UW Oshkosh curriculum and the CAP curriculum, and to see where Joe is with algebra and geometry, and see what what he needs in order to plan for the remainder of the year. So I think actually that's a really good transition, because he can be here January 2nd and see what's going on in those classes, provide an extra support, help us out during oral time and some different things with those classes, and make just the best possible transition.
When's the end of the semester? Up until
20th.
20.
of January.
Mhm.
He might have time to sub in kindergarten and stuff too, so.
I wouldn't go that far.
Sergeant Strats. No, it's kindergarten.
Samantha, sorry, I missed what you said about retirement. Did you say
He still may, given where he's at and everything, he said, I want to be honest with you, I'm not looking to come back and teach 3, 4, 5 years. He said I very well, may retire this summer. And I appreciate him knowing that. He and I also talked about, that as he looks to make that decision, some different things like what Peter Chekai is doing this year, which is quite common in districts, at just teaching the CAP courses. So as he, looks at what's the best possible situation for him, knowing that there's options, I just think he does a fantastic job for our students.
Have we been continuing to look for a permanent replacement
Oh, yes.
in the meantime?
Oh, yes.
It has
Jane,
been very difficult.
you should read some of the really creative job descriptions and stuff that we have out there. So.
And there were two student teachers that I was pursuing, and one of them had, I don't know, a couple weeks ago probably now, had decided due to some family things, when he finished his student teaching, he'd be going back home.
And it's not that we're settling with, this is a great thing, he wants to be here, it's great to have him
Yeah.
back. And you know what, if he retires, so then we'll post it for next fall. We
Yeah.
can work through that, so I think it's a win-win for everybody.
It is.
Oh, without doubt, I'm glad to see him come back, but as tough as that position is to fill, I guess I would encourage, ongoing dialogue with him so that we can get a jump on it if it looks like.
Like you wouldn't believe. I don't even hesitate to ask people to think about retiring. I had a couple conversations, I have not a couple, one a day, I'll probably have 2 more as a week. Yeah, whatever we can, we don't need to be secret. Not that they have to, but the more we know and the earlier, the better we all feel.
And so what is he all teaching again? I know it's half class.
He will teach the sections of geometry and the 2 sections of CAP, and then 1 of algebra, 1A.
So he'll have everything from advanced college level to students who struggle in algebra.
And so what is the struggle of getting them? I mean, is it?
They don't exist.
There are very few people that are getting that degree. Anyone who's going for a math degree are
Right.
going business. Mhm. I don't remember the numbers, but they were ridiculous. The state of Wisconsin said the number of job openings that they had for math teachers and the applicants, it was,
One time in
Bad.
August, it exceeded special ed list postings in this area of the state.
So, all right, so Jeff Strats, that's the secret.
And there's nothing. I just,
Let your mic cut
the
off.
game's already started, so.
Yeah,
There's
I was like,
there's a leg that you can see now as a result of political events that took place and people that transitioned out of education, and now we're into that, and now people are moving from place to place in order to see financial benefits. And so unfortunately, that's gonna be the new norm until something else settles within the system. But there, for tech ed, prime example, you get about 6 people that graduate every year from Stout and from UW-Platteville, and there were 37 openings last year for tech ed. No longer do school districts hire. I talked to Sharon Simon for a long time over Thanksgiving. They used to give a LTSE, long-term sub, anytime they hired during the semester, you wait, and then now it's, if they can get somebody, they're giving them a contract, semester, day 10, day 180, they're giving them a contract. They can't let people slip by because it is no longer the 250 people that apply for a position. You may get 30 people. And of that, most of them don't fit the criteria, such as something as specific as that.
Is the program, for instance, Stout, which is my alma mater, by the way, is the program just that small that not that many students are interested?
Nobody wants to. They can't film.
Yes,
People don't wanna
the
be
program is
teachers.
that small.
Yeah. People don't want to get into those programs.
And the ones that come out are, hey, you no longer have to start here at year 1. You can have this up here now. And so they're telling them, don't supply and demand now, pre-agency.
That's something that we're working on. That's a whole nother conversation. It's a different world. It's a different world.
So the recommendation is to approve
Jeff Strax.
the contract for Mr. Strax to return to North Fond du Lac.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Streeter?
Yes.
Chisholm?
Yes.
Goldowski, yes. Hack?
Yes.
Tell me has to bring
Will.
donuts his first day.
Oh, I think he eats donuts. Does Jeff eat donuts?
Is he what?
Eat donuts.
Now,
All right.
number 6, discuss and consider Matt Bertram in the LEA for the district.
This is just one that I had left off that can help us in need for our IEPs.
Okay, I'm going to ask, what is LEA?
Local education agency, which means that they are the ones who make sure that all the laws are met and that the district fulfills what they need to when they do an IEP for a student.
They can
So normally
commit-
administrator,
Commit district resources. They're authorized to commit district resources.
All right, recommendation is to approve Matt as the LEA for the IEP process. Councilor Conyers?
This is just if an administrator is unavailable.
absolutely. It's just that we have over 200, we have a bunch. And now with Matt being the dean of students, he has flexibility where he can do those things. And if there is anywhere there is a big substantial amount of controversy or need, Debbie is there, or Samantha, or Mike, or Adam, or Aaron, or Carrie Jo.
Melissa, you made the motion? Who's the second?
Second.
All right, then motion and second. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Will? Yes. Streeter?
Yes.
Chisholm?
Yes.
Goldowski, yes. Hack?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 7, discuss and consider the school calendar for the 17-18 school year.
I heard nothing. I made one mistake where I had the quarter ending the second week of January and it should be the 3rd. Other than that, and the teachers, I've only heard one person who says there could be a conflict with the vacation in August of having the teachers do 2 days at the first institute that would count for the contract. So, looks pretty good. Pretty excited about it. Nice breaks in there. Coincide too with Fond du Lac, not that we always try to do that, but we do have staff that have children that, go to school in Fond du Lac, so it'd be cool. And we get done at a decent time. Depending on the referendum, if something passes, we can always adjust it. I know that currently Hudson's gonna end like May 20th, so that they can get a lot of construction going and then start later. I mean, that could be down the line, but right now I don't see that. It's about as less of a dramatic calendar that I've ever had, ever.
August 28th.
Yep. Start on the 5th.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's the 5th.
Not the 1st. I don't think families would really enjoy that, come for 1 day and then 3 days off. Staff will have some flexibility. Nice spring break.
Do you think we'd ever roll back being able to start after or before?
Not right now.
I mean, let's face it, most of these places you go to, these kids don't live in the United States.
Yeah. Not even
All the Dells, they're from Russia and all over the place. The old adage that you gotta stay for service industry and can't come till after Labor Day.
That could all change in the next few years, but right now,
Because of the minimum contact days, you can't
No.
squeeze it in?
no, they just, it's a state law. I could go and it would take me half an hour. And it's not, it's something where it's been tried and gone after in the way they go like that. They're not gonna listen that way. There's other ways when we start looking at, we might become a district innovation zone. Then we'll do whatever the heck we want, start whenever we want. And that's coming up possibly in the next 2 or 3 years.
Right now, it's a state law, you can't start.
Yeah, you can't start
After Labor Day.
All right, looking for approval of the calendar for the 17-18 school year?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Wadowski, yes. Chisholm.
Yes?
Hawk.
Yes.
Streeter.
Yes.
Will.
Thus concludeth the agenda, therefore, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Streeter.
Yes.
Chisholm.
Yes?
Wadowski, yes. Hawk.
Yes.
Will.
Get home for that 7 quarter.